congregation where I served for 35 years. And so I know this audio and this community very well. And last night was almost a classic example of what only happened last night, but what has been happening again and again and again and again throughout this community and this city. What's happening to our families, what's happening to our churches, what's happening to all of the best of our city is being slowly destroyed, devastated by the unnecessary and, I think, unlawful practices of the Tucson Police Department and the Border Patrol in collusion with one another. The first point I want to make is this did not need to happen. This was a simple traffic stop for an unlighted license plate that should have been ticketed and the person go on their way like that would happen for me or for most of the community of Tucson, Arizona. As a matter of fact, you all seen the commercial that somebody gets stopped for a taillight that's out and the officer says, "Fix it," and walks away. That's good police practice. What we saw last night was terrible police practice. I was there, and when I asked the officer what the stop was about, he said for an unlighted license plate. And I said to him, "Then write a ticket and let him go." And he said, "No, I'm holding them for an investigation." That's racial profiling. Purely and simply, it was racial profiling that resulted in everything else that happened last night. The Supreme Court has said in their opinion on 1070 that police can only hold someone for the normal amount of time that it would take for the original stop. TPD did not follow the Supreme Court decision last night. And beyond that, I asked, that other man is just a passenger. He should be released immediately. He had nothing to do with an unlighted license plate. And the response was, he doesn't speak English and he doesn't have a driver's license, so I'm holding him. A passenger in a car that has violated nothing is being held because, as the officer said, he doesn't speak English. That's racial profiling, and it occurred last night again and again. Second point I want to make is that in the midst of a peaceful demonstration of this community saying we're fed up with this kind of bad police practice, even violations of the law of racial profiling, we're peacefully going to protest this. And the violence last night, all of the violence, was solely on the part of Border Patrol agents and Tucson Police Department officers. Solely, all of it was, and that's a violation of their responsibility, their training, and their trust in this community. Without warning, without any attempt to defuse the situation, without any word that anyone was violating any ordinance or law at all by participating in a peaceful demonstration, 20 Border Patrol agents attacked citizens in this community, throwing women and youngsters and elderly to the ground and into trees. And they did so without any warning and without being provoked whatsoever. All they saw was a peaceful demonstration, and they attacked. And the Tucson Police Department officers watched and did nothing as Border Patrol agents attacked peaceably assembled citizens of this community. So therefore, what the community has called for is exactly right. A complete and public review of TPD and Border Patrol actions last night. That review must be conducted by the mayor and the council and the Tucson Police Department, and everything needs to be covered. The events of last night, all of them, the policy of the Tucson Police Department, the training of the Tucson Police Department, and the policies of this city, making it an immigrant welcoming city. And the demands are exactly right. Even under racist and repressive legislation like 1070, the Tucson Police Department has no right to hold people they stop for traffic stops any longer than it takes to write out a ticket for that particular stop, and then release them immediately. There must be no interrogation or holds on passengers of vehicles stopped in traffic stops. And Tucson Police Department has so far even gone to the extent of refusing to say publicly that they will not enforce 1070 or interrogate citizens of this community and residents of this community if those persons are victims of crime or witnesses to crime. That policy needs to be established and established publicly, and a complete review needs to take place.
Yes.
Now, why am I standing up here as a member of the religious community of Tucson? It is because all of this has resulted in mothers and fathers being disappeared off our streets, families devastated and destroyed, children crying at night because their father or their mother does not return, all because of bad police practice, bad law, and bad relationships between TPD and the Border Patrol. This needs to stand, and I am grateful for all the members of this community, this neighborhood, this barrio, for all the members of the religious community, for all of the members of this community that stood up last night peaceably and said, no more. We cannot stand for this anymore. And it's time the entire city of Tucson stood up and said, no more, not one more. Thank you.
No one more.